Good morning, everybody. This is Zach at it again. I'm your host, Zach Cooley, and I'm honored to have star UVA baseball player and Whitfield native Avery Mabe on the phone with me for this episode. Avery, thank you so much for being with me.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure to be on.
It's an honor to have you. Can you tell me, I grew up with your family. Our sisters went to the same babysitter, and I went there sometimes too. I've known Danny and Deanna all my life, so I'm very familiar with your family. You're a very athletic family. Can you tell me, though, and I know you did several sports when you were in a student at George Wythe. Can you tell me whenever it was that you first became interested in sports, and particularly in baseball?
Really, really as long as I can remember. Ever since I could walk, basically anything I could pick up or play, I wanted to do it. So, especially baseball, I was always throwing something, or I think I was a year or two old when I was first able to throw the ball and hit it. So, from a very young age, I've always been really interested in sports, particularly baseball.
So, at what point, I guess, in your high school career did you decide baseball was the way to go?
I'd say it was more middle school. I really wanted to play baseball in college, and I believe my freshman year, or my 8th grade year, I came to a camp here at UVA and did pretty well, and then I was invited to another camp as a freshman. And as a freshman, I started talking to some of the coaches after I did pretty well. And they asked me to come on a visit, and then I ended up committing here as a freshman in high school. So everything went a lot faster than I thought it would, but I'm grateful that everything went as it did.
Because you've obviously had tremendous success. And as I said, you've become a hometown hero, and I'm very honored to be the first one to do a story on you here in this local paper, because you've been covered everywhere else, from Bristol to Roanoke to even in television, but nobody's done it here, so I'm honored to be the one to do that. Was there anybody particular that was a mentor to you? Did you have national heroes that you looked up to? Who were the athletes that you aspired to be when you were younger?
Growing up, I've always been like a huge Atlanta Braves fan, especially Chipper Jones, John Smoltz. But I'd say my dad was a huge part in it. He was always the one that would practice with me, throw with me. Any sport really. I'd play golf with him all the time, shoot basketball with him in the driveway. I remember there'd be nights after come back from a basketball game and it'd be 30 degrees and we'd be playing one-on-one in the driveway. But yeah, he was a huge part of it. I also was lucky enough to have a lot of great coaches along the way, especially in baseball with travel ball. I probably played for at least 30-some teams throughout the years, and met a lot of great people through that.
Great. Okay. I see a lot of your success as a George Wythe player listed here, but I don't see a lot of recorded success from UVA, which I know you've had. So do you want to talk about some of the things you've achieved and maybe what your future goals are as far as a player at UVA?
Yeah, my first season I was injured, and I got hurt my first fall here. and missed the entire first season, which was very tough. I really wasn't used to missing games. It was the first time I was seriously injured my entire career.
And was this the blood clot?
Yes, shoulder injury.
Yeah, because I did talk to your mother beforehand via Facebook, and she was telling me about some of the injuries that you've had, and that you really came through a very serious, and that was due to a shoulder injury, all that.
Yes, I had a pinched artery in my shoulder that was causing the blood clots, and I kind of got lucky that we caught it when we did, because it wasn't really anything painful, but if it hadn't have been for the blood clot, I don't know if we would have caught it.
Yeah, and you could have lost your pitching hand, so that's
luckily it didn't get that far, but it was a scare.
Yeah, God definitely had big plans for you, and to be as difficult as it was to recover and play mentally and physically at the level you are playing is a huge testament to your endurance and your success. And you had also missed your senior year at George due to COVID. Is that right?
Yes. I got a full golf and basketball season in, but we only had like a week or two of practice with baseball and one scrimmage before COVID had hit.
But it was pretty fortunate that you were at UVA at that time, where the doctors found it, is what your mother is saying.
Yes.
Let's see. Well, thank God that everything turned out all right. Obviously, you are looking toward the major leagues eventually. I think it's obvious that that's in your future. Is there a particular team that you're hoping will be scouting you, or have you heard of anything like that? Is it too early in your collegiate season to talk about that, or how does that work?
I had a little bit of interest coming out of high school. I didn't really get to play a senior season, so I didn't get scouted too heavily. But especially since my injuries in college, it's kind of been a little bit of a setback, and I haven't really gotten back to where I was, or really played at a level I would like at. So I definitely still have a long ways to go before I before I would really expect to garner a lot of interest again. So I'm still a year away at least from even being eligible, as you have to be 21 years of age or play 3 years of college, but hopefully over the next year or so I can get back to where I'd like to be.
And she also has said that you are finishing your bachelor's degree in 3 years, which I think is amazing. What is your bachelor's degree in?
Right now I'm planning on doing a degree in cognitive science.
And what will that entail?
I'm not really sure where I'm wanting to concentrate yet, but you can concentrate in either psychology, philosophy, linguistics, neuroscience, or computer science, maybe. There's 5 concentrations, but I'm not certain which pathway I want to go with it yet.
Was there a reason you chose that field?
Well, I was lucky enough to bring in a lot of credits from high school through the dual enrollment, and based off the classes I'd already done, there were like 3 or 4 different majors that I could have pursued in 3 years, and that was just the most interesting of the ones of the options I had.
of your options. Yes, indeed. And you were also an all ACC academic honor roll student athlete, which is among your achievements. Is there any others you'd like to mention that I may have overlooked?
Nothing to think of.
Okay. Now, what sparked my interest is that my family, particularly my 8-year-old daughter, loves going to the River Turtles games in Pulaski. And I always cover those for the paper when I go, and we saw that there was a Whitfield boy going to be on the team this summer. So how does it come about that you get to play with River Turtles? Is that something that you seek out? Is it something that you are required to do? Is it something they ask you to do and you do a volunteer basis? How does that work?
Usually the coaches assign our summer ball teams. Like last year, I was originally supposed to go to Keene, New Hampshire, and play in the ECBL, and I ended up playing in Brockton, Massachusetts.
Okay, so
the Brockton Rocks.
So you would be assigned to some team for the summer, and it just happened to be the one closest to home. Is that special to you in any way?
Yeah, it originally came about. My pitching coach, Drew Dickinson, told me that he was planning on sending me to the Appy League last fall, and I actually requested if he could put in Pulaski because I guess I could potentially even live at home, just being 20 minutes down the road, which is I'm super excited about. Last summer I was 12, 13 hours from home. Really only spent like a week of time total at home all last summer, so I'm really excited about being home more, seeing a lot of people, and my sister recently gave birth, so I want to spend a lot of time with my nephew this summer as well.
Absolutely. That's what I was going to actually say. You are a new uncle.
Yes.
Taylor has it's a boy, right?
Yes, Emmett.
Yeah, Emmett. All right. So you get to look forward to being a new uncle. So that's fantastic. I know that your parents, Danny and Deanna, are very excited about being grandparents. I have talked to them, and I know being a dad myself, I know the joy of the blessing of a new baby in the family. So that's really nice for everybody. Congratulations. Playing with River Turtles is a big deal because you will have a lot of local fans and local support, I'm sure, with your family and friends. Knowing your mom, I'm sure she'll be at every game that you play. And we're looking forward to seeing a couple of games, too. With the other sports that you play, do you get a chance to do any of the other sports, or do you plan on pursuing those, or will it all be strictly baseball from here on in?
Pretty much just strictly baseball. I mean, especially whenever I'm home, I'm really good friends with a lot of my, like, Kenny Blevins, Daniel Good, Grant Rosenbaum, Dylan Booth, that I've played golf with in high school. So golf is definitely, like, my main hobby now. I was lucky enough to play this past week with a couple teammates since we're off with finals. But, yeah, definitely just focused on baseball mainly. Like golf whenever I get a little bit of time, but
played on the Kansas Royal Scout team with fellow teammate Alex Green. What's that?
Oh yes, I played. It was a travel ball organization I played with. I played with them in the fall a couple times, like my sophomore and junior year, and then the summer leading into my senior year, I played in a handful of tournaments with them, and my current teammate, Alex Green, was also on those teams when he was healthy enough to play. And and I just got to know him pretty well before I came to school and got to play with him a few times. That was really nice.
But it seems like from seeing you on the games and seeing the clips that your mother puts on from the what is aired on television, that you were in top form. So it sort of surprised me to hear you say that you got a long way to go yet in terms of healing, because in all appearances you look in top form. So that was a surprise. And how long did you say you thought it would be before you would be back up to full potential?
I'm not sure exactly. I mean, I've done pretty well. I can't really complain with how I've done so far, but I think I could always improve and really hope to, because I think I need to take another step if I want to play professionally, and that's ultimately my goal. So.
And you may not want to answer this. You may not want to jinx yourself, but how feasible do you think the majors are for you?
I'm not really sure.
Okay.
If you would have asked me coming out of high school, I probably would have thought they were much more likely, but just being in college, especially going through a couple of injuries, it's definitely put things in perspective more. Sure. And I mean, I'm still very hopeful, but I realize I'm a lot farther off than I originally thought I was. So.
Well, I think your future is still very bright, and I think that you have. It would not surprise me at all to see you in the majors, because I've watched and followed your success through high school. At George Wythe, you were a 3-sport athlete, lettering at all 4 years, golf and basketball. 2-year captain of the baseball team, earned all Mountain Empire honors as a junior, and was a 2-time member of the Region 1C team. Junior year, struck out 101 batters in 54 innings and pitched while holding a 1.00 ERA. At the plate, you posted a 4.29 average. Played 4 years of varsity golf and was a member of the 1A state championship teams. What was that like?
That was golf in particular. I wasn't really the best golfer in high school, but I had a really good group of friends that were all really talented. And I was lucky enough to win 3 state championships with them. I was also a part of some really talented basketball teams. As you know, my freshman year we lost in the state championship, and then my sophomore year in the Final Four in overtime, and then we lost my junior year in the state tournament and the game away from the state tournament my senior year. So, yeah, a ton of memories playing the other 2 sports. Really enjoyed them both. Yeah, baseball was always my love, though. I really enjoyed baseball the most. We didn't have the best record as a team, but we always had a good time. And
that is the most important element of it all, after all. Would you still say that after these years?
Yeah, it's definitely very important.
What would you say to high school athletes now that are aspiring to get where you are?
You gotta love it. I mean, especially since I've been at college. I don't think if I didn't love baseball, I'd be able to put this much time and effort into it. And you really gotta take the time to just know the game, just take in everything around you, absorb what you can. It'll really help you later on down the road.
Was it difficult after your injury to come back, or could you just not wait to come back? How was that transition?
I'd say a little bit of both. I really wasn't used to being injured, so it was kind of difficult just to like sit on the side and just watch. And I mean, I had rehab basically every day with our trainer Brian McGuire, and I'm really thankful for everything he's done. But yeah, I was definitely anxious to get back, and it was a little bit slower of a process than I'd hoped. But everything definitely gone well so far. Luckily, I haven't had any backtracks.
And it sounds like, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, but I definitely learned a lot over that time, especially last year. Like, I wasn't available to play, so I just did whatever I could. I'd run balls to the umpire and just try to soak up everything I could in the dugout and everything I could at practice, just learn.
What are those learning experiences? What kind of things do you find out about yourself when you have that much time to sit and think? Is that a healing process for you, or does it tend to go the other way? For me, it would tend to go the other way. But
I'm kind of just trying to use it. Like, I've been lucky enough to be around some like really talented people here. Like, I think we had a handful of people drafted last year and a few others signed free agent deals go on to pro ball, but just observing them and how they like manage the game in different situations throughout the game, and then also just listening to the coaches like throughout practice and everything is really just so that way when I am at a particular moment, I know how to handle it and I feel a little more prepared for it.
And who are some of those people that you look up to the most?
Last year, Andrew Abbott and Griff McGarry were very helpful to all the freshmen. Abbott was from Halifax, so a similar like small community, so I could really relate to him pretty well. And then they paired each of us up with another older player last year, and I was paired up with Griff McGarry, and he was very helpful as well.
Okay. Sounds like the UVA folks really took care of you in your injury and your recovery time.
Yeah, shouldn't have been treated better.
Yeah, so it was, I'm sure, very fortunate that you were in that place at that time.
Yeah, I couldn't be more grateful as they called it when they did, and it really seemed to be a little bit of a freak incident, and kind of rare. So I'm glad I was here at Avery Hospital so where they could handle it as well as they did. And really, it was really comforting throughout the way that they had as much confidence as they did in what they were doing.
Well, that's wonderful. And best wishes for your continued recovery. Is there anything you'd like to add or say that I did not cover?
I'm trying to think.
Okay. Thank you so much, Avery, for talking with me. I have not had the pleasure of meeting you, but it was very nice talking with you, and much continued success in the future.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to meeting you this summer.
Yes, my pleasure, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.